What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Robski here, reporting in. I'm here in Lewiston, Idaho. It is December the 15th, 2017, and I'm here up from Boise doing a trip. Just tested a couple people here, and I'll be heading home tomorrow morning. A couple things I want to touch up on. I just could not let go. I listen. I'm on the road a lot in my truck, and I listen to a lot of sports talk radio. I want to touch up on what's happening with the new Kardashians of the sports world, the Ball family. Um, I personally, and like I said, it's not my business how to raise anyone's kids or anything like that. Um, you know, I I mean, LeVar Ball, believe it or not, the guy's got some good points to him. He's very motivated. He's very driven, and he's very driven for his kids to succeed. Obviously, I mean, I think people forget how tough it is just to make it into a big time college program, let alone the NBA. So I know that Lonzo is getting a lot of criticism um, because he's not, what he's hyped up to be. But you got to remember the kid's only, I think, 19 or 20, and he's a rookie, and things take time to that level. So, um, people that are calling him a bust and everything, that I mean, people in our society, uh, they just don't give enough people time to develop, especially in the sports world. I mean, you look at, people are calling Jared Goff last year a bust, and you look at the success he's had this year. So, um, with the Ball family, as much heat, much criticism they are getting, they do have some good points to them. Regardless of whether you like LeVar Ball or like uh, Lonzo Ball or not, it doesn't really matter. The facts is here's somebody who played at UCLA, and then here's somebody who's in the NBA making millions of dollars. So regardless whether you like him or not, doesn't matter. The guy's loaded now. Okay. So with that being said, though, I am going to throw some criticism out to um, what's going on now with the other two sons. Um, one of them obviously was, in China and was caught stealing, and now LeVar pulled him out of UCLA. But the biggest criticism I have is LeVar still had a son in high school who he pulled out of high school, and now they are heading to Lithuania to play some basketball. Okay, professional basketball. Now, I am a critic of higher education. I'm actually a very staunch critic, even though I have a degree myself. Um, I'm never going to blame anybody for pulling out to make millions of dollars. I don't, especially when it comes to basketball. It's like this. Like they gave Ben Simmons crap for not showing up to classes at LSU, but all that, and this is hard for people to stomach, but all that stuff does not matter when it comes to almighty dollar. Okay, so it doesn't matter if you have a 4.0 student who did the right thing at LSU, and you have Ben Simmons who slacked off and didn't go to school. The bottom line is Ben Simmons is in the NBA making millions of dollars and getting publicity, and that 4.0 student LSU, we don't know who the hell that person is. So that's just how it works. I mean, I've come to the conclusion that it doesn't, causation doesn't mean correlation, and the world is gray. So people are watching this, especially people that are in high school. Understand that high school and college, if you get good grades and all that, that's not the ticket to success. It's not. I don't care what anyone says. I don't care what your parents say. It's not the tickets of success. Success is measured by the almighty dollar and capital and what you own. It's not measured by your report card. So I'm not saying, flunk out or anything. I'm just saying, you know, consider this. With that being said, though, getting back to the Ball family, um, you know, I just think that when it comes to the high school kid, the kid that screwed up and was in China, that might be his best option is to go play pro basketball in Europe somewhere. When it comes to the high school kid, though, I mean, he just LeVar just ruined his chances of getting a scholarship and playing big time college basketball. I don't know if he was good enough to or not, but I really don't think that that's fair that that individual didn't get to make his own decision. Now, like I said, granted, he is, a minor, and the father. I like strong father figures, but I think it would have been just wise to just let him play out his high school years and then have him make the decision there, because neither of them can ever play collegiately, which is kind of a tragedy because, one, I think the NCAA tournament is a once in a lifetime thing. I mean, no matter, these athletes too, I mean, no matter how well they do, how poorly they do, no matter, if they, and this is the upside to college athletics, you always have that experience. So a lot of these professionals, because they don't know what's going to happen. They don't know what team they're going to be on. They don't know if they're going to get screwed over. They don't know if they're going to be traded, cut, whatever. But you always have your school. Okay, the school's always going to be there. Okay, the team might not be the professional team. So that's the upside is, you can always say, yeah, I played in the NCAA tournament and we made this run and I learned these lessons, and LeVar's youngest son's never going to have that. That time's done, and so I just want to throw out that criticism. LeVar says a lot of things that are just completely idiotic. He has no business saying he could beat Michael Jordan one-on-one. No one really has that kind of business to do it. I mean, the guy just doesn't have enough credibility. Also, I think he's a great salesman. I think he's, he's very courageous as far as he's not afraid to put himself out there, and he's not afraid to speak in front of a crowd and things like that. Where a lot of people have difficulty. But again, at the end of the day, the guy just, comes out with idiotic statements, isn't very intelligent, and I just don't agree what he's doing with his youngest son. So I just wanted to, throw my 2 cents into that because that's been a big deal. I've been hearing a lot of talk on the radio about, the Ball families coming up. Second point, Giancarlo Stanton going to the Yankees. That's not the magic ticket. He's not the magic ticket to put the Yankees in contention of the World Series because a lot of things need to go right. But let me just tell you right now, that lineup is a monster. If you're a pitcher, it's just the sheer intimidation factor in the back of your mind that any one of these guys could hit the ball out of the ball yard quickly. I mean, obviously, Aaron Judge had a phenomenal year, and you saw what he was able to do in his rookie season. It's a historical season. And Aaron Judge is for real, in my opinion. There was people on ESPN Sports Talk Radio saying that, yeah, I'm smelling bust on that guy. No, that guy's for real. He's going to be a Hall of Famer. I'm predicting that right now. It looks like he's a good guy. He's got his head squared on straight. He has the best physical attributes I think I've ever seen in a baseball player. Because you got to realize not only is he extremely large, he's very, very athletic coordinated for a guy that size. I mean, it's unreal. And then obviously you have Giancarlo Stanton, who's also a phenomenal athlete. But a lot of the Yankee players I think the guys that come to mind with those guys are Aaron Hicks and Didi Gregorius. Those two players are also legitimate contenders. They'll be all-stars. I mean, those Aaron Hicks and Didi were definitely overshadowed by Mr. Aaron Judge and Gary Sanchez. But Aaron Hicks and Didi Gregorius are great players. Brett Gardner's still a great player. See, those are the kind of guys that will win you championships and World Series. Not that I'm saying, like I said, Giancarlo Stanton deserves everything he gets. He's an amazing baseball player, but the guys that end up helping you win in the end are guys like Brett Gardner, Didi Gregorius, and Aaron Hicks. Those type of guys. If you look at the Astros, I mean, they got guys like that all over the place too. So with this Giancarlo trade, I don't necessarily think that puts them over the top, though. I think that they're a shoe-in to make it to the ALCS championship game, just like they did this year with the lineup they had. But I think that what Giancarlo does is he makes that lineup, more powerful. So it's like it's more of home runs. It's more power. Okay, so it's like whatever they got, he's just like another shot of Andro or whatever. I mean, he makes it more powerful. But as we get in the postseason, we see like a good example was when the Royals won the World Series a couple of years ago. They didn't have even one Aaron Judge or Giancarlo Stanton, but they had a bunch of guys that kind of filled their role, kind of filled what they needed. They had a bunch of. They didn't have Aaron Judge or Giancarlo Stanton, but they had a lot of Aaron Hickses. They had a lot of Brett Gardners. They had a lot of Didi Gregorius type guys, and they ended up winning the championship. With all these big bats, again, my dad used to talk about this, but I really do think it does come down to pitching. If you get that one guy that can shut down, those big bats, they're useless. Doesn't matter how far Aaron Judge or Giancarlo Stanton can hit the ball. It doesn't matter, how much power they got. If they don't got guys that get on base, they don't got guys that can come through the clutch. That's just going to be a nice addition. It's going to sell a lot more tickets. It's going to be a lot more exciting during the regular season. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter, and that's why, Derek Jeter, he's been getting a lot of heat, and Derek Jeter was just simply the fall guy. Giancarlo's going to have to get out of Miami. Miami's a mess, and Giancarlo Stanton helps him. He's just a stat monster, but he's not going to help him win down there. So Derek Jeter did the absolute right move to get rid of him. I think that it looks like the Marlins are going to follow like kind of a Chicago Cubs model. I mean, Derek Jeter's a smart guy. I don't care. He probably has a lot of hate right down there in Miami, but he made absolutely the right decision. Giancarlo Stanton, the Marlins weren't going to win any ball games with that guy and that contract. So it's a win. It's actually a win-win deal for everybody except for non-Yankee fans because I'm Atlanta Braves fan. I like them. But just keep in mind that Derek Jeter knows what he's doing, and it's a good deal for the Marlins in the long run, and it's also a great deal for the Yankees, even though I don't think that Giancarlo Stanton is the piece that puts them over the top into contention for World Series yet. I still think that Astros team has enough pitching, has enough firepower in the pitching to shut them down. Now, if the Yankees were to acquire somebody like Max Scherzer, then I'm thinking that it might be lights out. But that's why I want to throw out with that because that's been a big deal as well. And then last but not least, I'm going to get to is the NFL. They got a lot of penalties happening. There's a lot of things of that nature going on. Punishments. I mean, there a couple weeks ago. Well, I think it was a week ago that Bengals and Steelers had an old school football game. And, a bunch of fines, suspensions, and like I said, the NFL is terrible at giving out correct punishment. They should get out of that business altogether. I am in agreement with Colin Cowherd that they need to hire a separate company just to dish out punishments because they don't know what the hell they're doing. Roger Goodell's absolutely terrible in that circumstances. I mean, the NFL is a reaction league, and so they don't. It's like with this. It's like when women were when Ray Rice had his instance with his wife, they had a bunch of domestic violence commercials, and then now the domestic violence kind of died down. So now they have the protests. Now they have a bunch of pro-military commercials. It's kind of stupid. I'm actually very disappointed in the NFL. I was very pro NFL. I support the NFL. I liked it better than college. But yeah, lately I'm just not. I'm just kind of turned off by the NFL. So that's that. Anyways, again, I'm gonna do some reviews. It's like I said, it's Christmas time here, and I just wanted to come on. I just wanted to go over those subjects as far as sports goes. I'm also going to talk about they have the new Star Wars movie coming out, which like I said, Disney's kind of ruining that franchise, and I'll explain more in detail. You have to read the books to understand, and if you watch my previous video, I do a lot of I'm going to do most of my stuff on Stephen King, but I'll do some stuff on Star Wars too. Like I said, you have to read books to understand why I'm talking about why Disney is just totally messing up great franchise. Just totally jacking it up. I'll explain that more here in detail. And anyways, I'm going to try to make these videos a little less wordy. I am very new at this, so I just hope that I'll be able to add something unique and maybe get a following and maybe get in the radio business. I don't know. Anyways, again, December 15th, 2017. This is your boy Robski. He's checking out. Bye-bye.